Life now.
Living life, sis.
This one is life.
Hello, good afternoon. It's 4 o'clock, and Abimbola. Hi, Emmanuel. Black Bond. Hi, I am Jamal. So, but good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Finding Help with Special Needs. I'm trying to get comfortable with the background. It's different today. So, how's your day been? It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Abuja. I hope it doesn't rain today, but I don't think it's going to rain. Thanks for the greeting. Thank you for sharing my pictures on your various social media platforms. Hey, thank you, everyone. Thank you. So last week, like I always do, we talked about this calculia, yes, which is a learning disability that has students with challenges with numbers, and that was episode 12 of Finding Help with Special Needs. So, like I always do, I'm going to recap it real quick. It was more like whenever an individual is having challenges with numbers, it's also and we said that several reasons why individuals with dyscalculia may experience challenges with mathematics or numeracy. We said it could be due to stress, fear. It could be due to we also mentioned that because dyslexia, an individual who is living with dyslexia could also be living with dyscalculia when it comes to what problems. Easier by explaining to them how to go about the strategies that channel. And hi everyone, and try to listen. That was kind of with session 12. So to whose interests, a book summary of Mastering Autism. I'm sure you can all see it on, I can see it very well on Instagram, but in flesh, and I'm really excited about it. So what I wanted to do about this today is to just do a little of your work pre-ordered. You will get it by during the week. So before the end of next week, you have your copies delivered to you. That ended yesterday, yeah. So the price as from yesterday is now 5,000 naira. So the copies of Mastering Autism. Yay, thank you, Jumoke. Everyone, thank you for joining in. So I'm going to just do a little summary on social media all this while is Mastering Autism. I'm really excited about this book because it's an African, so it's, of course, I wrote it from the African perspective. You know, like I said some days back, I said, look, it's autism is autism, be it in the US, in the UK, in Asia, wherever. It might not be the same as what will be obtainable because of different reasons, cultural reasons, might not be the same as what you African perspective. Most of the examples are relatable, they're easy to read, and you can actually relate it to the kids you work spectrum. So the way a child A will exhibit challenges will not be the same way child B or child C will exhibit his or her challenges. But I'm really excited about and let's see how it goes. So we all have it. There's another copy. So if you're interested, which I think everyone should get, every classroom teacher, every special needs to get this book, particularly a child living with autism. I'm going to go quickly into the book itself. I'm very excited. Diane Stranges, who was my professor while in school, and she did a fantastic job trying to put me through, and her input cannot be. Taika, she's also a great woman here in Africa, and she's done quite a number of work with children with disabilities. Valuable for me. I can't begin to explain how I feel about this book, really. So, Mastering Autism by Lola Aneke. Parents are saying so many things about it. Experts are saying a lot of things about it. I'm really humbled by what parents have said here. I won't want to read this out because what they have to say, but bet me their words, they're very encouraging words about my work, about their kids that I've worked with, and the professionals also, because for the feedback in Nigeria, she said, when one thinks of a determined, passionate, and zealous autism practitioner in Nigeria, Lola Aneke cannot be missed. That they're patronizing. This got me really emotional because when you're working, you never really know what the people are watching. And she said something about that. I remember when I met this lady, some owner, and I went to assess a child at a school. The child is living with autism, and thankfully the child is doing so well right now. She's a teenager. She's doing quite well. So she had something to say about this. She said, I did the job like a professional. I was all about the child and I was really focused. So, and then she said, Mastering Autism, the name of many special needs child care practitioner who desire functional results. So if you desire a functional result for your child living with autism, you need to get Mastering Autism. She also said that now and in the time to come. So not just for the now, it's also for the time to come. And she said she suspects a third book. Yeah, it's coming soon. And the fourth and the fifth to watch this space. That's from Mrs. Bolanle Adewale, the Executive Director of the Learning Place Center. It's an ABN Badebo says some beautiful things. Is the parent and the founder of Benona Cerebral Palsy Initiative. So that's about what parents and professionals are saying. Now, I already mentioned to you that was forwarded by Dr. Dan. These are voices in the field of special needs in America and in Africa. So all they have to say, if they actually did this for what they did, then you can know that it's not a joke, that this book is the go-to. Says what is autism. So I try to explain what autism is all about, how to diagnose, formal, informal assessment, and previously when an assessment is done, it's the child falls, whether you could say the child is living with PDD-NOS, which is it could be Asperger's syndrome, it could be autism itself, it could be childhood dysregulation disorders. But the of it was that once you do an assessment or you do an observation, whatever it is you're doing, and you realize that the child does not qualify in more than two areas, then if, for example, speech and probably social interaction, you could more, depending on what the child's score is, then you could say the child is living with that was what chapter 1 is about. Now, chapter 2, strategies for instruction. So how do you instruct the child with autism in your classroom? What are the strategies? How do you manage whatever you think is affecting the child's learning in the classroom? Classroom teacher, I also have tips for parents on how to help their kids also at home, because what basically happens is that we want these kids to be able to learn. So generalization takes place, and that's what chapter 2 is all about. Chapter 3 talks about managing behavior in the classroom. And a lot of people do not understand that when children with autism, particularly when having a tantrum, we forget that this is their own way of communicating, because naturally their social interactional skill is quite poor, so they might not be able to, or having a meltdown. So what usually happens is that we need to find out why. And basically there are about 4 reasons why a child will have, I talked about that like a couple of weeks ago, why a child will have a tantrum or a meltdown. And it's 4 reasons why a child might do that. One is that they're seeking sensory input. It could also, tangible, and tangibles, and it could also be for I think about the fourth one now skipped my mind here, so I need to write that down. And there's a third one, the fourth one I can't remember right now, but we need to be able to find out what's going on. Once you find out what is going on, then you develop a functional behavior intervention. The behavior intervention, the behavior intervention plan, you draw up a plan from your ABC, then you now be able to have a functional behavior, but there must be a plan in place. So once you have your behavior chart all filled up for what happened, when it happened, to help the child to have a more functional way of communicating with us. So I can see a few things that we talked about. So let me go there. Yeah, to start chapter 1. Yeah. So that's ready for inclusion. Yeah. It says strategies for managing behavior in the classroom. Chapter so instruction, and chapter 3 talks about strategy for managing behavior in the classroom. And I already explained that. And the good thing about this book is that I put in samples of behavior intervention plan. So I have a sample in the appendix at the back of the book. So if you look at the back on page 90, yeah, about 90 samples, you can reprint, you can photocopy, so you can watch your child's behavior and know why the child is behaving the way it's behaving, and be able to come up with a behavior intervention plan for the child. So that is what Strategies for managing. Okay, so we've done that. Let me see what chapter 5 is all about. So strategy for managing behavior at home and other settings. We already said that it's not just in school that these children have a tantrum. Whatever happens in school could happen at home. Whatever happened in the classroom could happen at the party, could happen at the playground. But once we understand what to do and why the behavior is occurring, there we can have ways to be able to. It's not just for school, or it's not for classroom teachers, it's not for school owners, it's not for therapists alone. It's courses across different categories of people, so that you can be able to help this child to generalize their behavior in any setting they find themselves. So and here there's also like a table that helps you to know how to plan a behavior, how to ignore a behavior, how to signal, proximity control, interest boosting, and all of the child. What to say when it's in a particular situation. And I also say you should focus on positive behavior. Now I say to people a lot that most time we find it easy to just have a negative, always have a negative consequence for the child that is not behaving socially appropriate. But sometimes when they do the right, they forget to always and the positive consequence. So we have a sample of a table that shows you how you can have different kinds of reinforcement, primary, social reinforcement. So there are different things you could do, and I gave examples here and how to administer such reinforcements to the children. So it also said you make your classroom structured and simple for the child to be able to follow through, understand and address sensory issues. Sometimes you say a child is not sitting still, or the child would not look at you. Once you understand what it is that the child is going through when it has to do with sensory, it'll be easier for you to use challenging behaviors. So, and I also took my time to explain the various kinds of sensory input or disorder. Will have fully explained on how it could be hyper or hypo, and what you should do to make sure that there's balance in all of those. So that's about chapter 4. Now, for most parents, they say to you, well, I don't mind the child not looking at me. I don't mind my child not sitting still, but can this child just communicate with me? Can this child just... And we talked about what communication is, what speech is, what disorder, what language disorders are. So we about the various kinds of ways we can help children with autism develop their communication skills, and how to not to discourage them, in the sense that sometimes when children are having echolalia, we think, oh, this child just repeating this words over and over again, not knowing that this also would speak or talk to us eventually. I talked about helping the child to develop verbal language comprehension and expression, because sometimes receptive language skills, but you're wondering if he can understand, why is he not saying, why does it take his time to say it, why wouldn't he just talk to me? So these are some of the things that I put in there, and how you can help that child self-regulate his or herself. And then you know what, another thing is that sometimes when this kid begins to talk, we say to ourselves, we have this discussion, and we're like, how do we help him develop conversational skills? Some parents will say to you that my child comes home and I'm asking how was school today, and he just keeps saying fine. He wouldn't even be able to say like 2 or 3 sentences to me as to what went on in school. So I've put down some points or the prompt and help the child to generalize how his or her day went, or what the child wants, what he wants. So these are some of the things I put down here regarding conversational skills for children who are having challenges with communication. Also, I talked about the benefit of assistive technology, like text-to-speech, like some other apps on our Android phone that effectively. So that's about the assistive technology, still under chapter 5. Now, hold on. Six. So social skill is one thing that children, which we obviously know. So what I try to do is, based on the 4 areas that children with autism have challenges with, which is social interaction deficit and the sensory imbalance that might be taking place with those children. I just picked each of those challenges one after the other and explain some evidence of functional life in those areas to the best of their abilities, and the ways to help prompt them, the ways to help reduce the prompts and help them to not be too dependent, not to be too prompt dependent, and how to live in an independent adult life to always be there for them. So what I did with this chapter 5 is, chapter 6 was to talk about the various social skills challenges that they have. You know how children with autism would think, we call it the mind theory, where a child with autism might be in a room with a ball, and maybe there's a basket, or there's a bowl, there's a plastic that has a cover, and an adult walks in there and picks the ball, and and the child comes in. You know how other kids, typical kids would move around and look and try to find the ball. Most children with autism will not do that, so they'll just walk away or just ignore. So that's what the mind theory is all about. So sometimes also this also affects them in area of social or during break, push them by mistake, and they feel, oh, this child is coming for me to attack me, and then they just go ahead and hit the child, or just revenge. So I talked about ways that you can teach them social skills of how they can understand their personal space, how they can make use, how we can use social stories to help them understand what's going on. I remember a child whom the parent said to balls or stones on the car, and then we had to do a social story to help the child to develop a more appropriate way of interacting or playing in the environment. There are templates of how to teach these strategies in the right way, step by step, and then go about generalizing what it is that they have been taught to do. Classroom, your routine, how to line up for lunch, how to go out for recess, how when and when not to go out, when to use the loo, when to use the restroom, when to ask for water, about turn taking, waiting, transitioning, and changing of topic in conversation. These are some of the what to do and how to go about helping these children build these skills in appropriate ways so that we can move them to independence. Let's not forget that what we call children to be dependent on us perpetually is for us to be able to move them towards independence with teaching them how to learn. They're learning how to learn from us. So we can start. This book explains a lot of ways to help them by using using. There's about 4 or 5 students. You need to call the child's name and let the child know that you're talking to him or her. And if for any reason the child has not been taught that skill, they need to now know how to use the digital teaching strategies to be able to take the child step by step on what the expectation. The child can know how to go about that, whether you're there or not. And let's not forget, it's always good to praise the students when they do the right thing. Yeah, so that encourages them to want to do more. What else did I talk about here? So the different ways using social skill group training, using pivotal response training. So the different strategies you can use to teach that social skills, cognitive picture rehearsals. I talked a lot about that, and I gave you like relatable. Really enjoyed most while putting this book together is the strategies for teaching functional skills. You know, I was at the GTBAC conference. Concern, or she was worried about the fact that she had to beat a 28-year-old son, and wondering what will happen if I should close my eye and I'm not there for this child anymore. Would this individual still be able to have his own bed, eat food, make its own food and eat? Children, how to do this. Most times it brings back to the topic that I was talking about a few weeks back. We always have to sympathize with them as opposed to empathizing with. They could never, or they can never. But when you are empathetic with these individuals with autism, you understand that, yes, I understand what's going on and I can help you work through it, and I'll be patient enough with you until you achieve all that skills, academic functional skills, community-based learning skills, and the social skills, what they need to survive with people, and what they can do to ensure that they live the functional adult life. And in each area, I talked about specific skills that needs to be addressed. How to clean up your room, how to clean up the environment, they can do it. So we need to just find out ways. We can move them towards independence by showing them the right way to do these things, and they'll be good to go. Excuse me. So vocational skills also, and job skills. Successful with older individuals living with autism, and they're able to, excuse me, they're able to work in the workplace, you know. So by walking them through that, modeling what they need to. So, or a mentor that could work that. So for example, if you wanted this person to be your maybe a clerical staff, you have to define exactly what the job expectation is to the child, and you have someone that will work and let them know when they do it well. Let them know really they love to be appreciated, and when they don't do it well, also put them through, correct them almost immediately, and you're good to go. So it's possible to ensure that it's in the community, at jobs, they can work. It's possible for them to work. We see this happening in developed countries, and if you can only follow the right strategy, you realize that Nigeria in Africa living with autism. Now, I also explained a few definitions here, particularly most of the words. What ABA is, Asperger syndrome is, behavior management is, training. So this book talks about a lot of things that that has to do with ABA, which is applied strategies that have been adopted that works for individuals with autism and other developmental challenges or delays or disorders. So when you know how to change, how to discriminate, how to how to find out extent of the behavior itself, the consequence itself, then you are almost there when it comes to working with children with disabilities or autism. It makes the work easier. It's a research. Okay, we're good now. So that's about the definitions. And then I have another area here that talks about, so it just basically the appendix, and I put some forms that can be useful to inclusion. It's called IFSP document. So it's individualized family support program document, and this is always what is obtainable for children who are younger and lesser than 3 years old. So if you have any child whom you might not have all that you need for the whole section in the IFSP document, but you can as well document some things that could be helpful and for you to always refer back to when you need to check your level of progress and how well detailed IEP document, which is the individualized education program document, where you can have the student's name, date of birth, gender, and information source, dates, summary of results. When you're having an assessment, it's always not advisable to have just an independent assessment. If the child that's always coming from, you want to know what has been done, you want to know where to pay it up from, and that's what this IEP would help you be able to do. Then you find out the child's strengths and needs, and then you document that there. Instagram is having a little challenge. So okay, so that's what we have in IEP document, the accommodation section, the placement, the baseline of achievement, baseline level of achievement for alternative program. Yeah, there are some children with the normal educational curriculum. You might need to develop an alternative program for them, and then you have to show the reason why and put down the specific documents why this case might not be able to develop your annual goals, action required at every time, documentation, work for these children. And then you have your team members, and then you have your checklist and all of that. And one other thing we have here is the behavior. How do you go about having the baseline, the student being involved, very important. Depending on the age of the child, you want this child to be involved. Help them identify their strengths and their weaknesses and how to manage or modify their behavior even with their own input. So methods to monitor behavior will be monitored on a daily basis. An intervention that we monitor through a teacher checklist, observation, and anecdote notes. So I put all of those down, and then you decide how you want to use it. The family with me because I am the therapist or the classroom teacher, and then the parent like, no, this child is the different child at home. So the area that we need to focus on is how to communicate with the parent and how to share this information with them and how to help them and the child to generalize all that they need to know. Very important. Parents are very, very they're relevant in the child's intervention plan. So make them they understand what's going on and help them to be a part of it and encourage them so that they can help the child to generalize whatever it is you are working on with the child. I need to do this again. We're still having issues with Instagram. So to be careful so I don't give it all out and then you don't have to buy it. But I mean, really, the book, it's not just about the buy, it's the effectiveness of the book and the changes that you would see with the kids that you're working with when it comes to individuals living with about the book. Who is this book for? I've had this question, people asking me. So it's for everyone that has a child with autism. It's for every school practicing inclusion with children with autism. It's for therapists. It's for in schools. It's for school owners. This book would wow you. And I say when I say wow you, it deals with practical things that individuals with autism are going through and the best way to help them in when it comes to what autism itself is as a disorder. So get a copy for yourself. That we want to make the world more inclusive. The best way to make it more inclusive is for us to acquire knowledge regarding what it is, be able to socially interact with individuals with autism. We want to be able to generalize with them, have them speak with you, have good communication skill, and use it. So please do not just get it. The whole idea is for you to get it and be able to use the resources in there to make a difference in it. You find more information on my various social media pages, and you could call the number 0. A copy goes for 5,000 naira only. So call the number 0809 666. I'm going to also type out the link you could use to get the book once this discussion right now. I'm going to throw out information out to get the book, but simply just call the number and then we'll give you more information. You could come if you need more information about mastering autism. And of course, you're aware that this had been out for a couple of weeks now. We've sold quite a number of easy, and together we'll make the world a better place for individuals living with autism and special needs. I think that's about all we have for you today. Let me now check. Yeah, thank you, Mary Linda. Send me hearts, send me messages. I've been having some challenges with Instagram today, and on Facebook. Let me know you're here too. If you have any questions, Oh. Okay. I really can. So if on Instagram, send me messages, send me hearts, let me know you're here. Any question you have for me? Okay. Boom. Okay, so I think that's all we have for you today. Can I have Facebook? I can say it's not Facebook. Okay. I'm trying to find it. Yeah, okay. Hi Alex, thank you for joining. Thank you. And you do and you Juluwa to Lola Yekule. Thank you all for joining in again this evening on finding help with special needs. Yes, so I have the numbers to call to purchase the book 080912736666. And that's what we have for you today. I mean, yours truly, Lola Aneke. Have a blessed week. Bye bye.